Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Match Day -1 press conference with Team USA. We have player Reggie Cannon. To all media members that have questions for Reggie, please raise your virtual hand and I'll give you the floor. So I will wait for more media to connect. Reggie, can you please give us some comments about tomorrow's game?
Yeah, tomorrow's game is obviously a very important match. One, it being Canada, and then two, being so close in goal differential and in points is going to be a very important match. And Canada has obviously been on a very hot streak. They have so many great players, so I think it's going to be a very good test come tomorrow.
Thank you, Reggie. So to all media members, I remind to raise your virtual hand that's on the Zoom page, so I can give you the floor to ask any questions. Anthony Christensen.
Hi, Reggie. Obviously, you've missed the first two games through injury. What's it been like kind of coming back to that, and then how's it been trying to earn that spot?
Yeah, I'm back 100%, and I'm very happy to be back. Obviously, there was a slight concern coming into camp, but I knew that it would be overall positive to be able to come back 100% and not 50 or not 60%. So I'm really excited to be able to get back on the field. Obviously, Shaq's done a very good job. Kellen as well has done a very good job at substituting in for that position, and now it's going to be about having that depth to continue going forward in the tournament, because again, that's what I said about a week ago, that depth is one of the most important things when it comes to tournaments like these. You need to have a lot of deep positions to be able to make far runs in tournaments like this. So I'm really excited for what's to come.
Austin.
Can you talk a little bit about the rivalry with Canada? They've got a very strong roster and they've played some great games with the US and Canada over the years.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a special aura and energy about that game. We're gonna go out there and play our game, but Canada itself, they've been very strong these past, I think, 8 games. They've been on a very hot streak. So to us, it's just about playing our game. Greg has prepared us very well tactically and physically for what's to come, and we know this is a very important step in our journey. And Gold Cup obviously is a huge honor to play in, and everyone here knows that. There's so many young guys on this roster that they know the importance of this game. So I think we're going to go out there and be ready for whatever's to come.
Reggie, USA is already in the next round of the Gold Cup. How important, is it a priority for the team to qualify as first of the group?
Yeah, this group is not satisfied with just qualifying for the next round. I think that was the starting point. Now the finishing point is to overall finish first in the group, and that's exactly the goals we had set and the goals we had planned before we even played the first game, had our first training, because this group strives for greatness. We don't try to settle for mediocrity, and I think that's going to be a big thing come tomorrow. All the guys are going to be ready. Whoever's out there, I think it's going to be incredibly important to secure those 3 points to be on top of the group.
Charles Boehm.
Hey, Reggie. Thanks for speaking today. I wonder what you thought of the two different looks that you guys get from a 3-back system to having 4 in the back. Does this group seem to be better suited maybe to playing with 3 in the back, given the personnel? What's your take on which works better?
Yeah, I think this group is very versatile. I think we have so many young players who are able to play many different positions on this team. I think to get our best quality off the field, I think this group is much more comfortable playing 3 in the back. But I think, going 4 in the back, this group is just as comfortable. So I think it's going to be a different output, a different energy. We'll have to see what comes tomorrow, but I really think this group is capable of doing both. We have very dynamic fullbacks, from George to Sam, from Shaq to me to Kel. I think, with our center backs, we have very, very physical center backs, and again, very technically sound center backs, ranging from James to Miles to Walker. I think, even Donnie as well. I think everyone is kind of suited to play a lot of those positions, different formations. So it's going to be a matter of seeing what lineup fits best for each game. We'll see what comes tomorrow against Canada.
Manuel Medina.
Hi, this is Manuel Medina from TJ Sports in Mexico. One of the things Greg has said a lot during this Gold Cup is that he's trying to find the best players for the World Cup qualifications. How do you guys are having this in mind? Because you want to win one spot to be able to play on the qualifications. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone is using this tournament as an opportunity to be able to secure their spot on World Cup qualifying. That's the reality of the situation because, again, we have a lot of players over in Europe that are succeeding at a high level, and it's going to be a matter of proving every step, every game with the national team to compete in those options. So I really think that this group is doing a great job of that, and ultimately capping it off, finishing first in the group tomorrow. So I think it's going to be a good opportunity, and I think you're going to see, a good amount of players from this camp go to World Cup qualifying. We're going to need all of our pool. We're going to have a lot of depth because it's going to be incredibly difficult, especially with our schedule. So I think it's going to be a good opportunity.
Reggie, one last question. Sunday is a sellout. How motivating is for you guys to play with a full crowd in the stadium after a while?
Yeah, I think we obviously get a lot of energy from the fans. I think that's one of the biggest things that's obviously been missing from this year of football. And I think it's going to be incredibly important going forward that we have the support of our fans because, we know what it's like to almost play away in your home country. I felt that in the 2019 final, against Mexico. It was one of the craziest things to not be able to hear yourself think. Hearing that energy, being in that environment, it really motivates you to get to the next level, to find a way to win. So I think these fans are going to be very important going forward, and obviously all the players are going to be excited to have a good number of fans in the stadium.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you so much. With this, we conclude the first part of the press conference with Team USA, and I would like to invite head coach Greg Berhalter. Thank you. Welcome, coach.
Thank you.
To all media members, for questions, raise your virtual hand. Jeffrey.
Thank you. Hey, Greg. Obviously, some changes in personnel since the last time you guys faced Canada, but just in terms of looking at their team, in what ways are they a little bit different than the last time you played them?
It's a good question. I think that, first of all, I'm really happy that Canada's in the final qualifying group. I think they've done a great job of getting to this point, and I'm not happy because I want to face them. I'm happy for the group, for the players. It's a lot of players that we're familiar with. Got a lot of respect for those guys. It's been nice seeing them grow over the last 5 years, and they've arrived at this point. And I think it's a good team. I think they made some adjustments in the formation that really played to their strengths. And then you look at the development of their player pool, similar to ours, it's young players, and they've really taken that next step and arrived on the international level.
Anthony Christensen.
Hey, Coach, we talked so much about World Cup qualifying in this Gold Cup. I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about how over in Europe there was, Norway with the protest shirts. I wonder if what your take on that was, and then if you've had any conversations with your players about maybe doing something along those lines.
That's a great question. And we started back in March talking to the guys about Qatar and about the situation there. And, I think there's protests like Norway, and that's one way to do it. But I also think that, that we need to bring awareness to the situation. And I think boycotting the World Cup may not do so much good, but participating and bringing awareness to the situation could potentially do good. So our job is to educate the players, educate the staff on exactly what's going on there, and come up with our own message of how we want to make change.
I've Scholar Seb.
Greg, as far as Canada goes in their attack, they're definitely going to present some different challenges for you than the previous opponents. When you talk about Tajon Buchanan, the way he's looked, and also their strikers, how important is it just for development of your defense to face those kind of challenges? And as far as striker goes and winger goes, and you have all these guys who you could be playing wide, how challenging is it for someone like Jassy or Matthew Hoppe or Giacchini to make that shift from striker to winger? Do you see them kind of handling that adaptation pretty well?
Yeah, you know, they've done a great job, and it's not easy. You know, if you think about Matthew, especially a young player, you know, just broken into professional soccer, has played striker the last year, and now we're asking him to play a different position, but he's done a really good job. Nicholas Giacchini, same way. You know, but we've seen him for his club play on the wing, so we imagined that he can do that. You know, Jonathan Lewis is a guy that's played up front for his club this year, so maybe he's not so familiar with the winger position as of late. And Giassi, you know, he's played some winger, but he's really stepped into, you know, being a premier player in the league at center forward. So these guys have done a great job adapting to our tactics and helping the team be successful.
Larry Henry.
Hey, Greg, thanks for the time. We just wanted to ask about both your left backs. We've seen Sam Vines and George Bello. Obviously, Sam has a little bit more experience in MLS right now, but just wanted to hear your thoughts on both of them, how they performed in the first two games, you know, both getting time and what differences they bring to the table from one another. Thank you.
I think they both performed well. And, you know, we have to remember George is 19 years old, which is phenomenal. He's got a huge future ahead of him and did a good job in the game. You know, for that to be his first start, I think, you know, he exceeded expectations. With Sammy, you know, he's a little more familiar with playing at this level. And, you know, he scored a goal in the first game, took it really well. I think had a strong performance in that game. So both of those guys, you know, have proven that they can help us this tournament for sure.
Ryan Tolmich.
Hey, Greg, you spoke a little bit earlier just about, you know, Canada's jump forward, and you look at the region as a whole going into this World Cup qualifying where 8 teams are in there, and you have Canada kind of taking that leap forward, and Jamaica over recent years has gotten better, and sort of that triumvirate of Mexico, US, Costa Rica has sort of, you know, people are starting to catch up. You know, what does that sort of mean to the region to see teams like Canada kind of take that leap forward, and how does this game kind of prepare you for everything that's going to come going down the line?
You know, that's a difficult question. You know, I'm not like, I think I look at it a little differently, you know, and I would say that, you know, we made a lot of strides in the last couple of years in terms of developing a young player pool and getting this young player pool to a point where they have experience, international experience. So I think we were more of a resurgence team. You know, the Costa Ricans, the Honduras, the Mexico, you know, that's a team, those teams have been through it before. They know exactly what this is about. I'll add Panama to that. But I think the resurgent teams in CONCACAF, the United States and Canada, and, you know, I referenced before how Canada did a great job of getting through qualifying. You know, that's not easy to do what they had to do. You know, winning that many games over a short period of time under adverse conditions, in the heat of the summer. So, you know, I got a lot of respect for what they did, and it's great to have them in the qualifying group.
Coach, thank you so much. We'll take one last question. We had a Kunt.
Hey, just a Sunday expected sellout at Children's Mercy Park. I just want to get your thoughts on what you've seen from the crowds so far. I know the time differentials kind of played a little bit of a part, but to get an expected sellout crowd for such a highly anticipated match, you know, what's that mean for your squad as you get into this last game in Kansas City?
I think it's great. I mean, that's, you know, that when you associate playing in Kansas City, you associate with a sold out crowd at Children's Mercy. You know, the Sporting KC has done a great job of getting fan support throughout the years. And, you know, that's what we imagine. Children's Mercy, when it's filled up and loud, is a really intimidating place to play. You know, I put it up there with Portland and in Seattle. You know, some of the newer stadiums like Austin has great fan support, LAFC, but Kansas SKC certainly holds its own. And, you know, we're really looking forward to an amazing crowd. We know when that crowd gets rocking, it's a difficult place to play.
Coach, thank you so much. With this, we conclude press conference with Team USA. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Match Day -1 press conference with Team Canada. We have head coach John Herman. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and I'll give you the floor. Where do we start? Ryan Tolmich.
Hey, John, you know, we were on earlier with Greg and just kind of talking about the way that this rivalry and these two teams have grown together. And he said how he sees a lot of similarities in the way that these two programs are going right now, just built with young players who are eager to prove themselves both, at home, in Europe, wherever. And he, just looking at this rivalry, how do you kind of see it? Is it kind of friendly based on the similarities? Is it fierce? And where do you kind of see this game going?
Yeah, I think we're both after the same thing. We just want our teams to keep improving. We want our teams to be respected at the world level, and we're doing everything we can. I know Greg works very hard behind the scenes, similar to myself and my staff. We grind it out to try and find every last centimeter of performance improvement. So, coming up against Greg, it's always a privilege. I think it's he's a good coach. He's very meticulous. So, tactically, it's always going to be a battle. And then when it comes down to the rivalry, I mean, that's the players. That's the players really look forward to this game. I think the Canadian guys always look forward to the match against the USA. And I know my experience on the women's side, we used to love coming up against the US. It was always a huge rivalry for us. And certainly in recent times, the game in Toronto and Orlando, yeah, they were good matches, good quality matches. So expecting something similar tomorrow, and yeah, it should have some fireworks, I'm sure.
Next question. Okay, Coach, Canada is already in the next round of the Gold Cup. How important is for the team to qualify as first of the group?
How important, sorry?
How important is for you guys to qualify as the first of the group?
Look, the mission was coming into this this group stage to qualify top of the group. I mean, we always try and set, high goals for ourselves and for the country. So, with the US, we haven't beaten them on their turf for, I think, in our history. And that's a real carrot for, I think, these players. But all in all, we would like to finish top. It's an important part of progressing through a tournament. But at the same time, the most important thing is that we have a team that's there's solidarity there. They're connected. We have a group of players that can actually play in the quarterfinal and not suspended through yellow cards. And those that are carrying injuries have had a chance to nurse it. So I think the win against Martinique and Haiti and putting ourselves in a good position, particularly with the goal difference, it's just put us in that mindset that it gives you a chance to prepare for that quarterfinal. At the end of the day, to get to the Gold Cup final, you have to win another 2 matches after this. This is an important game, I think, for the fans, for the players. But all in all, as a head coach, you have to look at one eye on the next game. And, whether that's Jamaica, Costa Rica, whether that means we have to play Mexico or, Honduras in the semi-finals, who knows? We just don't know how the tournament's going to unfold. So you can't predict too far ahead. What I do know is I want my best group of players, the most talented group available for that quarterfinal match. That's a critical game for Canada, and to get over that hump is a big one for this country. So I'll have one eye on that, one eye on this game, and as you're aware, it's a derby match. It's important to our players and fans.
Thank you, Coach. Now, can you tell us what has impressed you the most of your players in the first 2 games?
Well, the amount of goals they've scored, I think that's been great. I think they've showed at times that attacking quality. I think some of our positional play has been really up there, and how we've been able to integrate a lot of the young new faces into this team. I mean, we're playing with guys like Tajon Buchanan, who's, only picking up 3 caps, Alistair Johnson, 5, 6 caps. So it's still a young, inexperienced team in many parts. And I just feel like it's gelling slowly but surely together. And then we've had some tough moments, and I've enjoyed that. I mean, this team needs tough moments, and if you've seen in CONCACAF, you know, the Mexicans, the Costa Ricans, the Jamaicans, they've all had tough moments in this tournament. Even the US against Haiti, you know, with that scoreline. So you've just got to say the games in CONCACAF aren't easy, and they're going to throw up this underdog narrative for a lot of teams. But, you know, I think for us coming into this game, you know, those learnings are critical. We've been able to fight back from 1-0 down, and have in the back of our mind in the Haiti game when they scored that goal that here they come again, that sort of nightmare moment could appear at any time, and we got through it. So I think it's shown how far we've come, and we're missing Davies, we're missing David, we're missing Arfield, we're missing Hutchinson, Kennedy. You know, there's a group of guys that could be here. And they're not. And I think developing that sort of resilience in this group of men, particularly for what's coming World Cup qualifiers, is huge.
So now tell us, Kyle Larin has scored a record of 10 goals this year. How important it is that he's playing so well?
Yeah, he's loving it. He's loving being part of the Canadian national team. I mean, I think he was one of the men that potentially could have went back to his club and you know, eased his way into a pre-season, given that he's got Champions League commitments, and given that he had a hell of a season as well. He had a lot of games building in, and he had a long World Cup qualification, and he's got 2 twin girls at home, and so managing a lot. But, you know, the sacrifices he's made is because he actually loves playing for his country. He's really enjoying, you know, the brotherhood we've created here. He's enjoying the style of play. And yeah, you can see he's just in good form. He's in good rhythm at the minute. So long may it last, because I think the fans are enjoying him. He had some moments in the Haiti game where you can see he's doing things in a Canadian shirt we've never seen him do before. I mean, he took a ball out the air, beat 3 players. Yeah, I mean, he's in really good form. So excited, and hopefully it continues.
Canada and USA split their series in CONCACAF Nations League with 1 win each other. How close were those games between the 2 rivals?
Yeah, I think a lot closer than anyone ever really understood. I think the 2-0 scoreline in Toronto, and then the 4-1 scoreline, when you go down to the analytics, and I know Greg will probably look at a lot of things like I do, you start to realize that, you know, it comes down to the small margins. In the US game, you know, they killed us on 2 set pieces and 2 transitions. In Toronto, we killed them on 2 transitions. So you can see it's in those moments of chaos, and there's little details in the preparation that make the biggest difference. We had 10 days preparation, or 8 days preparation prior to the game in Toronto. We only had one focus, the US. They had to deal with Cuba. And then coming into Orlando, they did what they do. They brought a camp together, and I think they had 14 days together before our first game. So, you know, these are the differences, the little details that can make big differences at this level. But I think, you know, we're on an interesting playing field going into this game tomorrow. It's, you know, we both have got players in this squad that are still developing and still trying to earn their way to becoming a core player. And we're in tournament situations where we can't get the extra preparation. We love it, but you're on 2-day turnarounds with a little sleep, and back to back. Greg changed his system. I changed my system coming in. So there's definitely, you know, some challenges there. So I'm excited for the game tomorrow. I think all the fans are, and I'm sure, you know, he's looking forward to it as well.
Thank you so much. With this, we conclude the first part of the press conference. Now we would like to invite player Samuel Piet. Thank you.
Asking me a question. Yeah, the last like 2 or 3.
Hi, Samuel. Welcome.
Hi, mask off or on? Off? Oh.
So, media members, we have Samuel Piet. If you have any questions, please raise your virtual hand.
It's going to be tough to hear the question.
Okay. Ryan Tolmich.
Hey man, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. You?
Good. I just wanted to ask, look, you played in those two games the last time you played the US in Toronto and Orlando, and it seemed like that was kind of a turning point in terms of this becoming a rivalry, in terms of you guys kind of taking it to them and showing the US that you could play with them. So I just wanted to ask, when you play the US, what's that like? Obviously there's that familiarity in that you're playing with and against, guys you play with and against in MLS. Is it fierce? Is it friendly? What's it kind of like when you get on the field with them?
No, I think it's obviously a big rivalry because it's the US against us. And you've said it, playing in those two games back in 2019, it made it very special because before I used to saw this rivalry as a spectator, but now you get to live it, you get to feel the emotions, and you can see how, what it means for the program, what it means for the players. And yes, you're playing against some guys that you play with either in your club or playing against during the season. But, when you play for your country, especially at this level in this tournament, that means a lot for us. You go in there to win. I'm not gonna lie, we're going tomorrow into tomorrow's game to win that game, to top of the group, and to try to make it, to try to make this rivalry even more special, and hopefully try to get the win and be on the good side of it.
Richard, go ahead.
Thank you, Samuel. Just the first question in English. If you can just tell us what's impressed you from watching the first two matches with these young players coming in and getting some experience and winning the first two games with 8 goals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've looked at, if you look at the offensive part of our team, I think we've responded really well. Obviously scoring 8 goals in 2 games, it's pretty impressive. It wasn't always the same goal scorer, so you could see that there's quality all around the team, and not only in the front in terms of strikers. So that says a lot about our team. Going into this tournament, winning the first 2 games is super important. We're obviously really happy to have qualified for the quarterfinal with 1 game left in the group stage. Like I said, we're going into tomorrow's game to win it in top of the group, but obviously getting that ticket as soon as possible is something that we wanted to do and we achieved. So really happy. There's obviously still a lot of stuff to improve and worked on, but mission 1 is complete, and looking forward for obviously tomorrow's game and what's coming after.
And actually, just to follow up on that, you've been a part of a few different Canadian teams at different levels, which have had success against the US. What does the team need to do to kind of get that similar success and get a win against the US on Sunday?
Yeah, well, obviously with the quality that we have in our team, the depth too, it's just to go out there, be true to our identity, which is, try to be on the front foot, trying to, dictate the game compared to maybe in the past years and the past, squad that we used to have, where it was more wait and see what's happen in the game. We want to make things happening in the game. We want to try to dictate things and force things, and not just wait for things to happen. I think that's going to be super important. I've said it. I think offensively we've been obviously really good with the players that we have, the quality that we have. I think we need to be very, very focused on the defensive side of it, defensive aspect of the game. We need to be very focused on the defensive transition. The US are really strong on that. It's a powerful team with some good physicality. So I think if we can do a good job on that and just play our game like we've done in the past 2 games, I think it's going to be a real interesting game for us, and hopefully, like I said, get the win.
Merci. Puis 2 questions en français. C'est un gros match contre les États-Unis dimanche. Qu'est-ce que tu penses du rivalité Canada contre les États-Unis?
Évidemment, cette rivalité-là grandit de match en match à chaque fois qu'on affronte les États-Unis. On l'a vu en 2019 lorsqu'on a remporté ce match 2-0 à Toronto. Puis un mois plus tard à Orlando, malheureusement, on a perdu ce match. Par contre, je crois que ces deux matchs-là ont mis, en fait, ont bien lancé les hostilités pour la suite. On sait que, bon, on les affronte demain, oui. On sait qu'on va les affronter durant nos matchs de qualification durant l'Octogone. Donc, non, je crois que cette rivalité-là est encore, en fait, a beaucoup de potentiel pour grandir, mais je crois qu'il y aura beaucoup d'émotions demain et pour les prochaines fois qu'on va les affronter. Donc, on est très excités de les jouer demain. On n'a pas besoin de motivation supplémentaire de la part du staff. Évidemment, ce match-là est assez spécial pour tout le monde.
Merci. Et bien sûr, la première partie de notre mission était de nous qualifier pour les quarts de finale. C'est accompli. Alors maintenant, c'est pour gagner le groupe. Qu'est-ce que Canada doit faire pour finir premier dans le groupe B?
Oui, en fait, évidemment, on sait qu'avec une nulle, on peut passer et terminer premier de ce groupe-là. Par contre, c'est pas ce qu'on veut faire. On veut rentrer dans ce match-là puis aller chercher les 3 points, la victoire. Par contre, il faut être évidemment intelligent et voir comment le match se déroule. Je crois qu'il faut être solide défensivement et surtout focus tout le long du match. Évidemment, les États-Unis, comme nous, ont beaucoup de qualités, surtout offensivement, avec des joueurs qui ont de très bons gabarits physiques. Donc, que ce soit sur les contre-attaques, d'avoir notre ligne défensive ou plutôt notre équipe en mode justement être vigilante, et de minimiser les chances des États-Unis. Je crois qu'avec la qualité qu'on a offensivement en possession de balle, il faut essayer de dicter le jeu, le tempo, puis de gérer ces moments-là, de gérer le match. Je crois que c'est quelque chose qu'on fait bien depuis le début du tournoi. Par contre, il faut évidemment essayer d'aller chercher le clean sheet, le blanchissage demain, chose qu'on n'a pas fait durant nos 2 derniers matchs.
Well, thank you so much. With this, we conclude the press conference with Team Canada. The video will be available at the CONCACAF Media Center. Thank you.